I laid out in my backyard during a bad thunderstorm.
When I was 18, I was home alone for the evening and had known bad weather was coming. At the time, I was a quiet girl in high school, going through a bad depression and didn't have many friends. I didn't have a lot of things that made me happy. Rain was one of the few things that did. The day gave way to night, and the dark storm clouds ominously moved in fast. I couldn't wait for the incoming rain. I looked forward to it all day long while at school. I could hear the distant thunder. I loved the rain. My backyard was really big and open. When the weather was winding up quick, I stepped out onto my back porch, instantly met by a strong gust of wind. I had on my pair of shin-length camo capris with the strings at the bottoms and my old rock band, my t-shirt. A loud thunderclap boomed, and the downpour began almost all at once. I took off my shoes before stripping off my socks. I moved into my backyard and lay down on my stomach, barefoot in the soft grass as the warm downpour drenched me. The grass lightly tickled my arms as I put my feet up and crossed them at my ankles. It felt so good for the warm rain to hit the bottom of my bare feet and soak me all the way through. Being in the rain made me feel very happy. I had just played with a flower growing next to me and enjoyed being showered on. It gradually let up in intensity later, but still kept going. I know I was vulnerable to the lightning above me that bathed the night sky in bright purple-white flashes in the darkness. It was very beautiful. The thrill of being exposed to danger was exciting. The storm was so angry, and my heart was racing, but I somehow felt completely safe. Crazy, I know. The thunder was so soothing and so inviting. There were some louder booms, but those didn't bother me. I loved listening to the rumbles, crackles, and booms it made. I thought it was so sweet to enjoy spending time in the moment with the lightning and thunder. Relaxing in the thunderstorm without worrying about life or being depressed was unbelievable. It was as if the thunderstorm's inviting embrace melted my depression away. I listened to the thunder as the rain soaked my feet, my hair, and my clothes. When it was over, I showered off and went to bed feeling content. I was happy once again. Rain was my medicine. In my opinion, it was the best thunderstorm I've ever experienced.
Prank or spooky activity?
Last night, my boyfriend and I went to the observatory and agreed to watch some TV in bed instead of hopping onto our gaming consoles once we got home. Picked up some pizza and wings on the way back. We ate and got ready for bed. Before getting into bed, I prepared my laundry for my boyfriend, who was going to wash our clothes at the laundry while I went to work. He was looking for the remote control. We searched everywhere but couldn't locate it. So we ended up falling asleep. Next day, I head to work. My boyfriend goes get a haircut, drops off some coffee for me at work, and takes our dog to the dog park. He went back home to drop off our dog and pick up our laundry. Once he was at the laundry, he was spamming me with texts expressing how angry he was at how packed the laundromat was and the fact that he's trying to exchange cash for quarters, but no employee was there to help. I reassured him I'd be there to help as soon as I got off from work. He ended up getting some change at Target and started on laundry. I got hands-on as soon as I got there. As I was folding clothes, I noted an old lady with white blonde hair staring at me, and I smiled at her. Witch popped into my mind when I looked her. It was weird, but didn't think much of it. We wrapped up, he went on home, and I go off to pick up my son, which is a small drive out. I get a phone call from my boyfriend and asks me, "Has anyone been home?" I said, "I don't think so." "Why?" "Let me call and ask 2 people who have keys to our apartment, who both check out." He went on to tell me the TV was turned on YouTube and the control was laying on the bottom bunk bed. An ad for the latest Exorcist movie was on per my boyfriend's statement. Also that our place reeked of fish when he got inside. We both don't eat seafood. He swears he didn't find the control or turn on the TV before leaving today. My boyfriend isn't the type to pull pranks like this, and neither are the family members who have keys to our place. We're not into dark things or bring any of that sort into our place. Shit like this doesn't scare my boyfriend, but it does spook me out, because I believe demonic shit does exist. I don't know what to make of it, and I can't get it out of my head.
My grandmother became a shooting star.
I've grown up in a difficult household. Both my parents had mental health issues. Often, they would be too busy struggling with their own issues that they wouldn't really care for me. The only person who always cherished me is my grandmother. I've been able to feel like a child only thanks to her. She would do these simple yet essential things. We would have sleepovers and she'd tell me stories before I sleep. She took me on trips. We would go to the beach. She would always pick up the phone when I was crying because my parents were screaming and arguing. She's always been a very strong woman. She lost her husband early, leaving her with 3 kids, all of them having substance abuse mental health disorders. Yet she always stayed a ray of light in everyone's life. She never complained about anything, even when she was suffering. Once, she told me that when she'll pass away, she will become the most beautiful shooting star for me. We always had a weird connection, almost like telepathy. For example, someday a few years ago, I fainted out of nowhere during my daily occupations, and I felt something was wrong with her, so I asked my dad to check on her. Turns out she fainted too, and she had a concussion. We saved her life by checking on her. I'm now 25, and she is 95. She caught COVID and has internal bleeding. She is slowly dying. She is in no pain. For now, with the morphine, it looks like she's sleeping, waiting for her time. The nurses were kind enough to put a bed next to hers for me to sleep, as I don't want her to die alone. As I am writing this, I am still in that bed, listening to her breath while I still can. She's unconscious, probably already between this world and the next one. I went to take a cigarette break with my best friend who came to visit, and that's when it happened. We saw a gigantic bright shooting star in the dark December sky. I know some part of her is already away, and that she kept her promise. She became a shooting star for me.
Scariest encounter I've had?
This story has been on my mind for almost 6-7 years and decided to share on Reddit for people to be a judge of it. When I was 18 years old, me and 2 friends were meeting up regularly at the same spot in a very old city. This part of the city had a large staircase made out of stone and a very large street connecting to this staircase. One time, me and my friends were going down the street and suddenly an old lady came walking by us, dressed as if she came out of a 1910s book, all dressed in black-white collar and everything. She looked like something from the Titanic. As she walked past us, we all got freaked out as she looked very strange as soon. As we walked another 5 meters, we turned out back and the lady disappeared. It is impossible she ran or walked extremely fast the street down. I'm pretty sure a pro athlete wouldn't be able to do it in 2 minutes. All 3 of us got spooked and never talked about it again. 2 years later, I was running some errands for work and had to go down the same road and the same set of stairs. When I got to the staircase, I see the same woman standing still just looking at me. I ended up getting extremely close to this woman while she was staring at me as if she wanted to say something. I decided not to say anything as if she didn't exist and walked down the first steps of the staircase. As soon as I walked down, I looked back and she wasn't there again.
The time I accidentally unleashed chaos at the family reunion.
Okay, buckle up, because I need to share the wild story of how I turned a seemingly innocent family reunion into a chaotic mess. So picture this: a picturesque countryside setting, a quaint family estate, and relatives from all corners of the country gathered for what should have been a peaceful reunion. Everything was going smoothly until I decided to showcase my amazing culinary skills by preparing a surprise dish for everyone. I confidently chose a recipe I'd never tried before, a spicy, exotic dish that seemed like a culinary adventure waiting to happen. Little did I know, disaster was about to unfold in the form of my culinary creation. As I served the dish, the room suddenly filled with a symphony of gasps, coughs, and cries for water. Apparently, my spicy adventure was more like a volcanic eruption in everyone's mouths. The once serene family gathering turned into a chaos of water gulping, fanning faces, and desperate searches for relief. I was left standing there, a culinary villain in the eyes of my unsuspecting relatives. In an attempt to salvage the situation, I brought out my phone, hoping to lighten the mood with some family photos. To my horror, I accidentally projected a slideshow that included embarrassing childhood pictures, cringe-worthy selfies, and snapshots from questionable family vacations. Faces turned from discomfort to outright horror as the slideshow continued, and I could feel the weight of my decisions sinking in. Desperate to change the narrative, I suggested we play a friendly game. Little did I know that my choice of a competitive board game would lead to heated arguments, strategic alliances, and accusations of cheating. What was supposed to be a fun bonding activity turned into a battlefield of family rivalries that I inadvertently instigated. As the day unfolded, my attempts to make amends only seemed to dig a deeper hole. From a culinary catastrophe to a technological nightmare and a strategic game gone wrong, I managed to turn what should have been a harmonious family reunion into an unforgettable disaster. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that good intentions and family gatherings don't always mix well, at least not in my world.
Thank you for watching Reddit Stories. Please feel free to like and subscribe. May you all have a blessed day.